It's all bullshit that they say, oh, we're going to have a big party. They know what's in there. You can't believe a damn thing they ever say. That guy, Saddam Hussein, has weapons of mass destruction. All right? Lie after lie after lie. So here's what I think might happen with gold in Fort Knox. The United States debt is about $37 trillion. When you put the real debt into it, Social Security, all this stuff they have to pay out, it's about $220 trillion. They're going to make up some bullshit. We got more gold than we ever thought we had, and we're going to raise the price of gold so they cover their debt. And I'll tell you a true story. When I was a kid, I'm about 17 years old, my father, may rest in peace, he said to me, you know, son, he said, when I was dating your mother back in 1933, I go over to your grandfather's house and he's packing up all his gold. And I said to him, Pop, what are you doing packing up all that gold? He said, the President of the United States, Franklin Roosevelt, wants us to turn in the gold. We have to turn in the gold. I am a true American. How dare you tell me not to turn it in? My grandfather turned in all the gold like most Americans did. When the scumbag, murderous bastard, may he rot in hell too, gave us World War II, Franklin Roosevelt, after they made the people turn in the gold. Oh, America, yeah, the land of the free. We bring democracy around the world. Yeah, that America, as we slaughter people anywhere we want. Anyway, they made the people turn it in, I think it was like $20, I think it was like 67 cents an ounce. In 1934, they passed the Federal Reserve Gold Act or something like that, and they raised the price to $35 an ounce. This is during the Great Depression. They did it to try to bail themselves out. I believe that Trump is going to do the same thing. They're going to raise the price of gold dramatically to say they can cover their debt. That's a guess. But I have to tell you, gold is a signal of how unstable and how we are on the brink of World War III to escalate. World War III's already begun. It's just going to be official, like World War II became official when they bombed Pearl Harbor. It was unofficial when the United States, the UK, and the Dutch put sanctions on Japan and cut off 3/4 of their global trade. This is before they bombed Pearl Harbor. And 88% of their imported oil. They only import 100%. Can't understand why they bombed Pearl Harbor. And then we have to watch out what's going on in Ukraine, because I believe that Ukraine is going to do everything they can to escalate this war to get more support. I was the chief government affairs specialist of the chemical industry back in the day, living in D.C. and Chicago, and the Iranian conflict broke out. And all they did, like they do all the time, they taught us to hate the Iranians, having no idea how the United States and the UK overthrew the democratically elected government of Mossadegh in 1953 because he had the nerve to say, hey, that oil, it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to Anglo-Iranian oil, better known today as BP, or Standard Oil, better known today as ExxonMobil. It's the oil of the Iranian people. No, it's not. The CIA and the MI6 overthrew him. The facts are all there. So that's when I became a political atheist. I start looking at things the way they are, not the way you want them to be or believe. The media whores that get paid to put out by their corporate pimps and government whoremasters want you to believe. So I bet oil and gold prices will go up. And I played the futures markets back then. $5,000 in each one, and I brought it almost to $750,000. I lost a lot of it. A young guy. But my first buy of gold was around $180 an ounce. Why are they buying gold? All things are connected in trends forecasting. Geopolitics and the economics of the world is a freak show in front of everybody's eyes for all to see. Gold is the #1 safe haven. I would have never thought gold prices would have spiked this year the way they are. Last year, it was one of our top trends for 2024, a golden year for gold. It went up 27%. When Trump got elected, gold prices went down. Where are they now? They spiked. Why? Whether you agree or disagree with his tariff policies, that's #1. #2, so all these little scumbags that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag that they love war. Yeah, that little Catzol Macron. We're gonna fight the Russians. Oh, how about little Starmer clown over there in the UK? Oh, how I forgot the guy Merz, the Chancellor-in-Chief over there in Germany. Oh, the BlackRock guy? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, 3 venture capitalist hedge funds or private equity, whatever they want to call them, own 88% of the S&P 500 in America. Look at Germany. Yeah, Heil Hitler, that Germany. We're going to build our defense. You're in a recession. oh, this is going to build the economy. No, it's not. It'll only reach the military-industrial complex, because you build the economy when you manufacture products that people buy. If people ain't buying them, all you do is enriching the club and bringing your debt level up as you're in a recession. Was it a second quarter recession in Germany? So what does I say? When all else fails, they take you to war. Goes back to gold. This is unbelievable where gold prices have gone. They may not confiscate it, but they're going to raise the price. It's a crime syndicate that people call a government. Hey, I'm Jamie Dimon. Hey, and I know who I am. Look at me. Hey, I'm a multi-millionaire. I ran a JP Morgan Chase. We got convicted of 5 felonies. One of them rigging the precious metals market. Hey, we only had to pay $900 million. We don't go to jail. No, matter of fact, when we caused the panic of '08 with all our derivatives and those subprime mortgages, you don't have a job? You're deep in debt? Don't worry about it. Sign over here. You can buy a house. They got $29 trillion from the Federal Reserve bailing out the banks as the people go bust. So you're asking me what they're going to do? They're a crime syndicate. They're not a government. They're murderers and thieves. By their deeds, you shall know them. One of my sayings in trend forecasting is opportunity misses those who view the world through the eyes of their profession. You got to look at everything. 1999, we forecast the dot-com bust would happen by the second quarter of 2000. It did. The dot-com bust is going to happen this year. And here's why. Making connections between different fields. Back in 2000, just before China came into the World Trade Organization, 10% of the 18-year-olds went to college. Today, nearly 70%. Young people, more so than older people, totally addicted to the AI and the high-tech world. Look what happened with DeepSeek. Out of the news. By the way, take a look at the Hang Seng. China has this terrible, disastrous real estate market. 30%, by the way, of China's GDP is real estate related. With every boom, there's a bust. When they got into the World Trade Organization, they overbuilt. And they made a bad situation worse with 3 years of zero COVID policy that destroyed the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions. So now, markets are way up because of AI. China's going to lead the world in AI. They got all these young people that are totally addicted to this stuff, and they got the brain power. They're all going to college, and this is what they're into. So go back to the end of January of this year and look where the NASDAQ has gone since then. It's in correction territory. NVIDIA, in one day, they lost 17% value of their stock when DeepSeek hit. Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. The AI trend has just been born, 2022. You don't invest all your money in the first automobile company that invented the automobile in 1886. And that's what everybody did. They invested in all these IPOs, all these companies that are in the AI world, but it's at the beginning of the trend. Now you go back to DeepSeek. No, you don't need all these big power plants that you're building to make chips happen. They way over invested in this. So we're going to see a dot-com bust. The Middle East is too small, and it's a gang over there in the Saudi Arabia. I mean, you know, what did they invent? But the king of England. If they were Italian, they'd call him a mafia, all right? What's this king crap? What am I, still in kindergarten? Oh, they're interested in making money. They don't have the population nor the natural and human resources to make it happen. China does. And they have the human and natural resources that they need to be self-sustaining and self-sufficient. They don't need Gucci anymore. They don't want Starbucks. They don't need McDonald's. They don't need any of this stuff. They want made in China. They keep doing business with themselves, and it keeps the economy going. That's what it used to be before globalization. In America, we had factories all over. I'm in a place called Kingston, New York. There were factories all over the place. Shirt factory. Syracuse, China. Syracuse, New York. We had manufacturing all over. You had a strong middle class. So that's what we see happening. That globalization is going to be coming to an end in a lot of ways. They're only going to be importing things that they need. But again, to me, it's stupid to put sanctions, like, for example, Trump spewing out crap. We're going to put these 200% or whatever sanctions on French champagne. It's not a competition. So there's going to be more self-sufficient and self-sustaining countries. Look, facts are there. Let's go back to the beginning of the Ukraine war in February 2022. Biden puts sanctions on Russia. Putin's going to pay the price. No, he's not. Russia has all the human and natural resources they need to be self-sufficient. All those companies that pulled out of Russia, Russians took over. Hey, the Russians' economy went up. They went down the first year, but as Europe's went down, Russia's economy went up. So that's what you're going to see a lot of. And China's China's going to become more and more self-sufficient. America's finished. I'm heartbroken to see what's happened to this country. It's a shit show. The way the people look, obesity everywhere, streets are all potholes everywhere, homeless all over the streets. I'm a New York City guy. I'm born in the Bronx. Breaks my heart to see what's happened to this country. So no, America's had its day. They spell the word wrong. They're not bureaucrats. They're bureaucrats. I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate at 26 years old. The bureaucrats are the low-life pieces of scum that can't get a job in the real world and become the most arrogant. All of these laws, all of these rules, all of these regulations have destroyed it. And again, what European Union? Who made up this crap? Be an individual country and mind your own business. I remember when they created the euro, and I had a friend, they were from Denmark, and he grew up during World War II as a little kid. And this line that they sold the people back then, if they had a European currency, the countries wouldn't be going at war with each other, as they've been going for war for what, since the beginning of time? That was the bullshit of coming out with the euro. I'm totally opposed to centralization of governments. Let anybody be who you want to be. Shut the hell up and leave me alone. But no, they put him into the European Union, NATO. What are you kidding? How stupid. Oh, I just in Sweden, they're building up their military too. Oh, Lithuania and Estonia. Well, these two little tiny countries. I got more people living down a block than these countries, right? Building up their military. Hey, Gatson, you go to war against Russia, it's the end of life on Earth. It's nuclear annihilation. What the hell are you wasting your money for with this? Why are we wasting it? Because we're bureaucrats. We're low-life pieces of shit. We're politicians. Look at all the money they're putting into the defense. How stupid can you be? Oh, by the way, it's not empty words coming out of my mouth. I'm a real fighter. I taught close combat, had my own school for many years. You only attack the attacker. You don't do this crap. As a man with a mind, and again, none of these little pieces of shit are fighters. None of them. And that's the other thing. You call these guys out man to man, they don't know whether to piss or shit. Oh, don't talk to me like that. Oh, I don't like your language. So what I'm saying to you is you have imbecilic little pieces of scum running the world, and they're running it into ruin. That they are spending this money in Europe for defense is one of the dumbest things that I've seen in my life, because it's leading to World War III to escalate. You have about $2 trillion worth of loans coming due this year and next year. Depending on whose numbers, by the way, almost up to $4 trillion in the U.S. When they force people to stay home, your office vacancy rate, 20% in the large cities. Your office occupancy rate is about 52%. The leases are coming due now after 5 years, and they're not renewing them like they were. They're taking less office space. There's going to be massive defaults on these office buildings. Last year, Midtown Manhattan, 50th Street, Sports Illustrated used to be there. A building that sold for 300, I think it was about 20 million in 2006, went up for auction, $8.5 million they sold it for. These buildings are non-convertible to apartments, big empty spaces. They're worthless. There's going to be defaults, and it's going to bring back down a lot of the banking system. Nobody's talking about this. The facts are there. And now you're looking at U.S. consumer confidence. You're looking at more and more failures. Every week in the Trends Journal, we put how many jobs are being lost in the real numbers and how many businesses are going out of business. A thing called Walgreens. They bought Boots over there in the UK. As a matter of fact, I did work for Boots back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. And they didn't listen to me, what I told them to do, and then they ended up getting out. I told them to stop when you walk in. This is a drugstore. Don't have candy and potato chips and all this little crap when you're walking in. I said, lift the level up. But again, Walgreens just closed 500 stores in the United States this week. Even Walmart is closing stores. So a bad situation is going to become very worse. Again, when the dot-com bust hits, the people on Main Street understand that the pain they're suffering is real. When Wall Street crashes, Main Street goes down even more because they know the reality on the street. We don't give financial advice, by the way. Well, also, we're bullish on Bitcoin. It's because what? The crypto club gave Trump well over $100 million to run for office after his inauguration. Again, it's a crime syndicate. They're going to get paid off.